Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? This is I'm doing a live stream on today. This is Thursday, March 26th, here in my bunker area that I'm using as my kind of my study room or my office. And just here to doing a live stream, but I'm leaving it open to the students. I'm not sure if anybody's going to join in, but if this was your opportunity to, so I posted up the project requirements in inside the beach board. And um, hey, Mohammed, how you doing? I'm good, thanks. Yeah, how are you doing? Hopefully good. Um, yeah, it's all good here. We're kind of holding it down, and so far so good. Everything's good. No one in my family has gotten sick or anything like that. And we're kind of that's good. All right, I'm glad you're doing good, Mohammed. Um, so yeah, we're here just talking about this. Since this is being recorded, I'm going to go ahead and just start talking. So I have posted the project, and it's there inside of a folder called projects on Beachboard. And if anyone has a question, you can let me know. You can email me. I might do a board discussion, set up a discussion on Beachboard. I'm starting to kind of Beachboard. I would only do I would use just Beachboard to put up lectures, lecture notes, assignments, like homework assignments, solutions, and and little of anything else. Maybe the solutions to the exams. I never would. I'd never set it up for grades. I never set it up for even videos. I do have some videos inside there, but for heat transfer, that's only because my YouTube wasn't working at the time. So I'm probably going to set up a beach board discussion topic on the project. I think one of the questions was, can we work in groups? And absolutely, go ahead and work in a group if you want. Um, and it should be only about. It shouldn't take more than 4 pages worth of work. I hate to kind of put a page limit, but I am going to put a page limit at 8. But 4 is comfortable. I mean, if you can get everything, you should be able to get everything said within 4 pages. Set up, do it like a normal report. I call it a white paper. If you might want to look up, if you're not sure what a white paper is, it's what we do in industry a lot. Like when we're trying to understand something like a technology, or we'll do a white paper study, which is basically like, okay, here's the problem, here's our approach, here's kind of like how we would set up the analysis, and then just come up with a conclusion, and just kind of a simple 4-page report. Hey, Khalid, how you doing? All right. Yeah, hopefully you guys are doing good. This is what, second week or so that we have of school that we've had, and I think this is I enjoyed your guys' company. At the same time, I feel pretty good being able to give you guys information online. But I think we don't really got a choice. 'Cause all the schools are doing the same thing. So yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. Yeah, everything. We're all good here. All nice and healthy. And um, I'm kind of I don't know. Most engineers tend to be introverts. I'm kind of an introvert myself, so I'm having a good time. Just kind of shutting myself away from everybody. So I gotta admit, this is pretty cool. And all my kids are the same way. I think I just have one. My son is a little bit more outgoing. I think it's killing him a little bit that he has to be in. That's good, Khalid. I'm glad you're doing good. Yeah. No, but yeah. So a lot of us are introverts, and so I think most of us are doing good. Yeah, you too, Mohammed. I appreciate that. So yeah. So back on the project again. You guys are welcome to hang in there, or uh, anyone that's anyone that's on. If you guys have any questions about the project, so let me go ahead and start discussion. All right. So the project means, so what I did is 10 years ago, there was something called the H1N1 virus. And back then it wasn't as bad of a deal as as what we're seeing right now with the corona. So, but you know how they say the saying is that necessity is the mother of all invention, right? So people tend to come up with things when they're needed the most. Not, no one really foresees this. Not too many people will invent things that aren't needed, but when things are needed desperately, or things are approaches or new ways of doing things, then people get really creative. And so what I did is 10 years ago, again, the H1N1 virus came out, and so I came up with an idea of a respirator, basically that sterilizes the air as you breathe it in. Um, I'm not saying that this is a good solution, perfect solution, whatever. I was working with some devices called thermoelectric coolers, and if you don't know what those are, you might want to research them a little bit. Maybe part of the project is just to type up thermoelectric cooler. That's TEC, thermoelectric cooler. And all they are is basically little. The other name is Peltier device. We actually use them, a very high quality version of it, on the rover. That's how we get our power. So what we do is, when we have our rover is plutonium power, the one that's currently on Mars right now, and the one that we're sending in this summer. And so what happens is, these are little plates, and what you do is you get one side hot. You attach a heat exchanger to one side, and you get it hot. So you can use whatever means of getting it hot as you want. Um, we use basically a nuclear reaction, basically a very mild one, with plutonium, and we get one side hot. And what you do is you cool the other side down, and when you cool the other side down, um, you actually produce electricity. And so, or you can do it the opposite. You can actually put electricity into it, like what I was planning on doing. One side gets hot and one side gets cold. Ah, John, hey, how you doing? And Sam. Um, okay, cool. So you guys did a project on this. Well, then you guys got it done. All right. um, all right. So this is cool. So anyway, if you guys have done any of this kind of work before, but basically what I'm doing is in the report you'll see. So these thermoelectric coolers, one side gets hot, one side gets cold. Um, and what you do is, depends how you want to use it. Like for the rover, we actually made one side hot, made one side cold, because the Mars is really cold, so it's really easy to get a heat exchanger, expose it to cold. The hot is a little bit more different. It is difficult. On Mars, we use a nuclear reaction to get one side hot, and then what you do is it's kind of like a thermocouple. If you guys are familiar with thermocouples, what it does is, when you have two nodes that are put together, kind of like, almost like two fingers like this. They're bimetallic, and so when they basically see a temperature, each material conducts a little bit of electricity, and you get a potential across the junction. And so there's these thermoelectric coolers are made up of all these little junctions, all these little thermocouple elements. And when you get one side hot, one side cold, it produces electricity. You get a potential, and then you can pull out power. And on the rover on Mars, we have about 100 watts continuous power, with our, and it's basically no moving parts. Or again, you could do it backwards. You can actually put a potential across the plates, and one side, force one side to get hot, one side to get cold. Okay, so the part that gets hot, my idea was basically to use that to you attach a little heat sink, a little heat exchanger, about an inch by an inch, or so. It could be 2 inches by 2 inches, and that gets hot. So what you do is you run air over the air that you're breathing in through this apparatus, goes over these elements. It heats up, and you got 3 stages. So each stage gets hotter and hotter. So you heat up the air, hopefully to 100 degrees C, something to sterilize the air, and then you bring it around. It's this basically the chamber is the tube. It goes goes horizontal, and then comes back around the other direction back to you. I'm sorry. So you breathe in through it. It brings air, brings it back around, and then on the other side, on the other pass, and I wish I could show you. I don't have the ability right now to show you. Maybe I can show you something here. So I don't have. I can't share my screen, unfortunately, but I can show you. Let's see if I can show you this thing here. Maybe I'll tilt it back. But this is the. All right. All right, so this is one of your slides on the in the packet. So what you have is you have the top side, those silver looking things at the top, those cylinders are actually heat. They're fans and they're heat exchangers. They're basically to remove the heat from the hot plate. But before it removes the heat, the air circulates. It comes in through this little blue straight arrow, comes in across the top plates, and the air heats up. Because these elements I'm telling you about, they're sandwiched in between two heat exchangers. So what they do is they heat up the air and then they circle around, and now the other side gets cold, so it starts to cool down the air, and it sends it back to you or to the person breathing it. And I'm going to put some more explanations later. This is actually, this is in case you want to spend a little time thinking about the project. And so, this is kind of what I had in mind. And then I have some temperature estimates as to what I think it's going to reach, but I'm not sure if I actually did the analysis for this. So what I want you guys to do is, if you choose to, you can analyze to see if this thing works. And again, I'll explain more, but and I'm going to do I have some Excel spreadsheet calculations, not for this device, but of ways of using basically fluid dynamics combined with heat transfer to show you in developing heat exchangers. And so then we can go ahead and we'll set up some calculations of how you would approach this, how you would say how much volumetric flow rate, how much power in those little thermoelectric devices can I heat up the air hot enough to bring it to 100 degrees C, and can I cool it back down to what temperature? I was predicting 26 degrees Celsius, and then breathe it back, right? And so by doing that, by taking the air to 100 degrees Celsius, you're going to kill off anything that's in the air, because that's how you sterilize things, and for in the medical industry. So that's the idea behind this project. And all I want you to do is either come up with your own way of doing the same thing. Can you come up with an approach to heat up air? So you have a respirator and you heat up the air so that you don't need filters. The other things to do is use carbon filters and things. But can you think of a way to heat up the air to close to 100 degrees Celsius? And who knows, the coronavirus, I think they say it starts to disintegrate somewhere around much lower temperature than 100 degrees Celsius, something like 50 degrees Celsius or something, like starts to disintegrate. So maybe 100 degrees isn't even necessary, but what you can do is you can heat up the air and then cool it back down, so you're not breathing in hot vapor, right? You're not breathing in 100 degree air, because that would make it worse, right, for you. So if you can come up with your own approach, then what you can do is part of the 4-page report is to do the analysis to say, look, I believe this will work. I did the calculations. Here are my results, and here are the conclusions. Or you could use my approach with my dimensions. I haven't put my dimensions of this device. I actually have the solid model. I was just going to put it up there for people that know how to open SolidWorks, and I was planning on doing a CFD analysis of that flow tube. But I hadn't done it. So 10 years ago, I was going to do this, and I just didn't do it. So now, would probably be a good time, being that something like that would probably be useful, I guess. I don't know. If you had a respirator that can make guaranteed kills any virus in the air as you breathe it in, I think it might be. And again, this was meant to be portable, so this is actually battery powered. That I know I can do. Because these little devices are low power, and they don't require much battery power, so you can run it for 2 to 4 hours or so, or however, on one charge. And that's it. That's all I have for this description on the. If anyone has any questions on the project, hopefully you went into Beachboard and went to the our contents folder. I put a folder called projects. And in there, you can go ahead and look at it. It's like a 12-page PowerPoint. Again, based on repeating what I just said, but it's based on a project that I did. And it wasn't I never built it. It was just basically a concept. And the idea was to heat up air to 100 degrees Celsius as you're breathing it, and cool it back down as you breathe it back before you breathe it into your system. So you have like a muffler type of thing, and you breathe in, right? The air comes in from the outside, goes over hot plates, and then goes over some cold plates in order to cool it back down before you breathe it. Sterilizing the air. So if you got your own way of doing this, if it's the same thing, can you create your own machine that's portable, that's cheap, that can be kind of made to and given to third world countries and places that really need it, in order, like first responders and things like that. Can it be portable? Can it be cheap? And can it can it do the job? If you need more descriptions, I am going to be posting more and more descriptions as we talk. Like I said, my model, the one that I created, I'm going to post it. I'm going to put dimensions on there, like the openings and what volumetric flow rates of what's the average person, how much air does an average person breathe? I think it's 0.16 liters per second or something of air. And anyway, so then that's the thing, is either you do your own idea, come up with your own approach, and do the analysis, the thermal fluids analysis, in order to show that it works, or you do my idea and run the analysis based on what I have on there on the report. Either way, you're going to have to run an analysis, and it's either, for those of you that know how to do CFD. I didn't get a chance to show you. I was going to show you guys how to use it on SolidWorks. I could still do a tutorial for those that have access to SolidWorks but most of you guys don't have it, and I don't have any way of getting it to you. So it almost doesn't. But the other way to do it is just kind of hand calculation, and either I use Excel to make plots and things like that, or you can use MATLAB or whatever else you have at your disposal. And that's it. And it's just to show what I show on that report. Will that work? And there's a simple analysis. And in about a week, I'll post some calculations up of what you can use, with some hand calculations or Excel-based calculations. I'll even show a video how to use the spreadsheets. Yeah. Sasan said that there is a free version of ANSYS available for students that run CFD. I appreciate that. Yeah. Sasan, you had mentioned that before. Most people don't. I think if you have a computer that can run it, that's cool. And ANSYS Fluent is free. I like ANSYS Fluent. I've used it before. So anyone that again, you can work in groups. Obviously remote groups. I don't want you guys getting together. You guys can do. Everyone's starting to do this Zoom thing, or I don't know, you do party people or whatever. I don't know whatever apps you guys want to use. You could use this Instagram if you want, TikTok. I don't really care. However you guys want to communicate. But yeah, don't get together. Keep your distance, right? But you can do this in group. When I mean by groups, I mean like you can do a multi-person per one report. You can do it by yourself. I'm an introvert. I would probably want to do this by myself, and you're perfectly capable of doing a report. 4-page, no more than 8 pages. I'm kind of targeting 4 pages, but really, if you can get it all done in 3 pages, even a 3-page report is good enough. Again, I'm looking for a white paper. So a white paper will basically have a something quick, like an abstract, an introduction. Your analysis, how you set up your analysis, your results, your conclusion. And that's it. And there's a simple bibliography of what sources you use. I'm not asking you to go crazy. At one time, I was going to ask you to do peer-reviewed journal article type of searches but you don't have to do that. This is more kind of in the engineering side, and because this is something that's useful. I think I think everyone has virus on the mind right now, right? And so when you got concerns or you got things, engineers, we can solve problems, right? So this is your time to shine, and see if you can come up with a way of sterilizing the air that you breathe in a device that's cheap and that's portable, and that you can create for millions of people, or first responders, or people that that are in infected areas, and they need to go to the store or whatever, and they don't want to, and they want to be safe, right? They don't want to rely on the the cover mask that's not really that effective. It is at stopping you from spitting, but not effective at blocking air that may, the H1N1 virus. I don't know if you guys remember, but that one was, or is it the avian? There was one that was supposed to be airborne, so it almost doesn't matter if someone sneezes on you. What matters is you can be outside and breathing it, and so it was really meant for that, or something where you can't keep your distance from someone to keep from getting infected. It's in the air. It's almost like or even just, yeah. So it was airborne, and that was the crazy part about it. But luckily, it never got big. It pretty much it never went pandemic. But who knows what happens in the future, right? So, all right. I want to just open it up for questions. You guys have any questions on this project, or you can also ask me questions on. I think we talked about, we have an exam on the 16th of April, so you're gonna have plenty of time from when you come back from your. Not that you're. I don't know if you guys are going anywhere for your vacation. I don't think you guys are allowed to, but I think I said the exam was on the 16th of April. So we won't have anything next week, or next Thursday, but hold on a second. 23rd. I have to look at my dates, but I'd like to have one review session to, for you guys to have if you guys have any questions. I'm going to start posting all the solutions to the homework. So it's going to cover, if I'm not mistaken, Reynolds Transport, you did a homework there. It's going to cover Navier-Stokes, you did a homework there, and then boundary layers, which it's a 2-problem homework assignment that I set. So I'm going to start. I think the last one, I want you guys to have it in by Sunday, so I can start posting all the solutions. So I haven't posted any solutions, but I would say this Monday I'm going to post all the solutions to all the homework. At that point, I can't collect any, or I can't give you full credit on homework. So if you guys have any missing assignments and missing homework, make sure you get it in by Monday. All right. And all right. If there isn't any questions, then I think we'll call it a day. And stay safe, you guys out there. Make sure you take this seriously. I told you guys last week, I have a friend. Yeah. So we have if anybody's interested in 3D printing their project, I have a friend with a printer farm. This is Tim Torres. Hey, Tim Torres. How you doing, Tim? Cool. Yeah. I mean, definitely, if you think you want to print something up, I mean, you don't have to create it. This is just, at least in my case, this is just doing just a simple analysis. Again, I look at my report, and you can see exactly what I put. Temperatures, those are just predicted based on what I thought this device would do. Anyways, you still need more information. I still need to give you how much heat each thermoelectric cooler is pulling. So there's still things I got to send you. But for those of you guys that are ambitious, that have your own ideas, that may want to, I don't know how many of you guys are out there. Most of my class, most of my students in my class, they don't want to deal with kind of inventing. They just want to they want to solve a problem, and that's perfectly fine. And so I have the problem laid out in the what do you call it? The PowerPoint. So in there, you can just take a look at it. The only thing I didn't put in everything. I didn't put in flow rate, and I didn't put how much heat is being these thermoelectric coolers reject. And so I'm going to do a little bit more there and do another PowerPoint to give you a better description. And then I'll follow it up with my own hand calculations to show how I would approach something like this. Just to give you, I'm not going to solve it for you, but there's calculations out there in terms of using heat transfer coefficients on if you have a flow rate and you have air moving, how much, and you have a certain element that's at this temperature, what's the heat transfer, right? What's the temperature drop of the air, or what's the temperature rise of the air as it goes over a hot plate? Things like that. And there's three stages here. So it goes over 3 hot plates, and then each hot plate has a backside. It's a cold plate, and it goes over 3 cold plates. Anyway, You guys have any other questions? Let me know. I'm going to start up probably give you guys opportunity to have discussions. I'll look at the discussions on Beachboard, see if anyone wants to do anything like that. Any questions you want everyone to see. Um, that's cool too. Or if you want to use that forum to be able to communicate with yourselves. I don't know if you guys in my class can communicate. You guys, we don't have an email distribution, so um, maybe on Beachboard we can set up a discussion. If anyone like was looking to join a group or something, maybe someone can say, yeah, we or pair up with someone. I don't know how else you would do it because we don't have we don't have the luxury of having class time to do that. So maybe even on this, you can put comments on this video, and you guys can use that too. Hey, this is me. This is me. I'm looking to help out, or hey, the group, or I'm looking to form a group. Or again, you can do this by yourselves. I probably would do it by myself if I was in your guys' situation, um, because I don't know. I tend to work better by myself, honestly. I'm not a group person, so even in college, I wasn't a group person. So you don't have to join a group. You could do this by yourself, and that's perfectly fine. All right. So if there's no other questions, hope you guys have a. But I was mentioning, take this thing seriously. I do have a friend. He's on a ventilator. He's been on a ventilator now for about 4 days now. He came down with the corona. He was my age. We grew up together. I haven't seen him in a couple years, but actually probably more like 5 or 6 years. But he contracted it at work in a meeting, okay, with people that didn't know they had it, and and he's in the hospital. I mean, I don't know, no, we don't know too much. Hopefully he pulls out. I think I don't know anything. I just know he's on a ventilator, fighting for his life. So take it seriously. Not everyone is perfectly healthy. I know students tend to not eat right, and you don't have your immune systems, all that. So stay home and wash your hands and keep your distance. And before you know it, man, we're gonna be back. We'll be back, and this will all just be an afterthought. So, all right, hey, you guys. Wishing you guys a good spring break, and enjoy it. Do a lot of reading and hopefully some exercise. And you guys take care. All right. I'm gonna sign off. All right.